Hello there Star Wars fans, and welcome to my breakdown of Season 2 Episode 5. This was the episode we have all been waiting for, and from my perspective it did not disappoint. The introduction of Ahsoka straight off the bat sets the tone for an action-packed deep dive into Star Wars lore and Jedi history. We also learn more about the child's life experiences and that he's actually called Grogu, but I think Baby Yoda is too cemented in people's minds to change that just yet. So let's start the breakdown. We begin with a dark, murky town sounding a gong, and cloaked soldiers manning defences. Straight away, the scene is set with a dark, feudal Japanese-style tone and aesthetic. There is blaster fire outside the walls, and a cloaked Ahsoka, wielding her signature dual white lightsabers, begins to cut down the attackers. They retreat and she pursues in a ghostly, mystical manner, dispatching them one by one until she reaches the gate. The leader of the settlement, surrounded by her fighters, calls out for the Jedi to show herself from the ramparts. She ignites her blades and lays out her terms against the defenders, clearly defining the occupiers as the oppressive, tyrannical type, holding hostages and threatening their lives. After the title screen, we see Mando and Baby Yoda make their descent to Corvus, which doesn't look like the healthiest planet, especially for something described as a forest moon. As the Razor Crest flies over the smoggy town and bare woods, the guards scan the ship in a similar manner to how the rebels scanned the ships at the Yavin base in A New Hope. It must be more of a standard galactic practice. They set down in the decimated forests, with large lumbering fauna in the distance eating the bare tree trunks. They disembark the ship with Baby Yoda bringing his favourite lever top with him. Mando approaches the gate and converses with the settlement's commanding officer. Baby Yoda is hidden out of sight as he asks for a place to rest. He gains access and strolls down the miserable and worn-looking streets, with the locals afraid to talk to him under the watch of the occupiers. The guards escort Mando to the magistrate. Before he enters the keep, he walks past 3 prisoners on display, being intermittently shocked in their cages. This is a further testament to how these oppressors rule over the locals using fear and torture. Mando then enters into a well-kept garden area where the magistrate is feeding fish with the droid guard standing behind. She commissions Din to kill the Jedi and offers up a pure Beskar spear, which we know will make a fine addition to his collection. Din is then escorted out into the barren wilderness to begin his search. During his trek, he hears rustling and sets Baby Yoda down. Just before this shot, we see a glimpse of an owl, signalling Ahsoka's presence. This could be Morai, the embodiment of the daughter who has watched over Ahsoka throughout the Clone Wars and Rebels. Soon after this, Ahsoka strikes from the sky, with Mando parrying away the strikes with his Beskar van braces. He uses his flamethrower to force her back and lassoes her with his whipcord. She breaks out by force jumping over a tree and cutting the cord. Mando draws his blaster, calls her name, and they stand off. Night falls. Ahsoka and Baby Yoda are conversing through the use of the Force, with Mando pacing at a distance. Finally, we get some deeper understanding of Baby Yoda. The fact he was raised at the Jedi Temple on Coruscant means a lot for the future. Do other Jedi know him? Was he present during Order 66 when Anakin and the 501st assaulted the temple? Is he skilled and adept with a lightsaber, similar to how Yoda was posed as old and frail until he started spinning and performing acrobatics against Count Dooku? There are now so many questions, and this opens up an avenue that I did not see coming. The fact that he was taken from the Jedi Temple and then hidden, which led to his darkness and amnesia, could mean he has swapped hands between the Empire and Jedi protection many times before. They begin testing Grogu in the morning. Ahsoka uses the Force to pass him a pebble. He is then asked to pass it back in the same manner, which he disregards. So Ahsoka asks Mando to use his connection with him to coax out his abilities. Din offers up the lever ball and he snatches it from him, followed by a showering of praise from Din. Ahsoka states the strong relationship Din and Grogu share, and quickly mentions she cannot train him. As Star Wars fans, we also know the outcome of attachments through the fall of Anakin Skywalker to the dark side in the prequels. Ahsoka knows this better than most, through her part being his apprentice. She recognises his reluctance to use his abilities has kept him alive, and suppressing them will continue to keep him hidden. Mando then offers up to swap his assistance in the attack of the settlement in place for Jedi training for Grogu. They then discuss strategy and the enemy's strength. The guards are armed with A350 blast rifles, which must be a later version of the standard Rebel A280 and A310 rifles. 2 HK-87 assassin droids whose predecessor, HK-47, was known to be a dry-humoured lethal companion in Knights of the Old Republic. The fact that Din calls lightsabers laser swords is a nod to how ignorant people perceive lightsabers. We also learn the Magistrate's name, Morgan Elsbeth, who is another Empire affiliate claiming territory and stripping planets of resources. The attack begins, and out of the fog, Ahsoka rapidly charges and scales the ramparts, slicing through the defenders and cutting the large gong in two. Ahsoka strolls towards the Magistrate and her full force with a confident swagger and throws Mando's signet pauldron on the ground. Ahsoka states her demands and they all open fire as she leaps onto the rooftops, deflecting fire to draw them into the town. The majority of the force gives chase while a few guards are ordered to execute the captives, then the civilians. Mando boosts in, eliminating the threat, and teams up with a local to release the captives. Ahsoka then begins to dispatch the enemies as they are spread out, drawing her lightsaber in the same fashion as she did in Rebels. She then eliminates one of the assassin droids as she retreats from the captain's scattergun fire. This is then followed by the captain and Mando having a Mexican standoff in the middle of the long, narrow, straight street as Ahsoka chases down the Magistrate. Continuing the Japanese samurai theme, the Magistrate and Ahsoka stand apart in the keep's garden. Removing their robes and agreeing to duel, they take up positions and engage. Mando and the captain converse to the backdrop of the duel in the distance. One of Ahsoka's lightsabers is thrown into the pond in a disarming move. Ahsoka then retaliates with her own disarming move, taking the Beskar spear from the Magistrate. As the spear falls to the ground, this signals to the captain his side is lost. As he lowers his scattergun to the ground, he attempts to draw his blaster on Mando, thinking he has let his guard down, but he blasts him with lightning reactions, calmly placing his blaster back in the holster in a relaxed cowboy manner. As the citizens tentatively come out from cover, the last assassin droid emerges on the rooftop and Mando draws on him with a headshot. I'm sure at this point Mando is a little force sensitive with his lightning reactions this episode. Ahsoka interrogates the Magistrate, asking where is Grand Admiral Thrawn. This is a big reveal as we now know Ahsoka's main goal is still to find Thrawn and potentially Ezra, carrying on the Rebels plotline, and most definitely setting up a spin-off show. We don't know yet if the information is extracted from the Magistrate, as the scene cuts before the Magistrate can respond. They have triumphed. Ahsoka and Mando step outside the gate as the citizens bring colour and celebration to the streets. Ahsoka passes him the Beskar spear as he is said to be the rightful owner now. He now has the perfect tool to duel Moff Gideon and counteract the Darksaber. Mando returns to the Razor Crest with the innocent Grogu sleeping soundly in a hammock. Din awakes him and carries him off the ship as Ahsoka stands at the bottom of the ramp. She reaffirms she cannot train him, but as most characters do, they provide information to progress his quest. She guides him to a Jedi temple on Tython, where he can choose his own path and a chance a Jedi will reach out through the Force to find Grogu. Din accepts this and takes them on their way. The planet Tython is the starting position for players of the MMO game Star Wars The Old Republic. It was one of the original temples of the Jedi Order, so it will be a place of ancient wisdom and learning. The planet itself is within the deep core, centrally placed in the galaxy and firmly within the New Republic space, so it's possible Mando could find himself in more scrapes with less forgiving New Republic enforcers. Alternatively, Moff Gideon will intercept the Razor Crest en route. I have a strange feeling Tython won't be reached this season. So overall, I felt like this is what Star Wars is all about. It had all of the formula we need for a near perfect Star Wars experience. It is compelling viewing and I believe it will continue to get better. Thank you for watching my breakdown. Please leave a like and consider subscribing. Thank you and goodbye.